Really Reviews.
Hello, Nico.
Did you start?
I started.
Oh, okay.
We have not talked about this movie at all. We texted about it last night, and I'm thinking that we might have a little bit of a debate based on our text last night.
I'll tell you where my ideas are rooted from. Okay?
Yes.
But we watched Past Lives.
We saw it separately. Actually, I saw it like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and Nico just saw it yesterday with Jay.
Yeah, with our friend Jay, fellow Korean. He enjoyed this movie. I just kept pointing to him, and I was like, Jay, because hey, this is not racially motivated.
Nope.
Because there's a Korean guy who is actually an engineering student, and he's like the second main character, and I was like, Jay, you're an engineering student. And then we would see the next person, and we would see something that one of our other friends does, and we were like, yo, that was it. But we tried to not do it too loud because there were still other people in that theater.
How packed was it? How packed was the theater 2 weeks after release?
Not very.
I
mean, there were 10 people, maybe 12 people in that theater. And it was one of the smaller ones at Phoenix.
Okay. I hope it does well. I hope it has done well. I guess you could look that up right now because I think it deserves to. It was clearly a very low budget movie, but I think it really deserves to do well. Spoiler alert, this is one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite. I think it probably is my favorite movie of the year.
They've done...
Oh, I did want to ask you, did Jay understand... Can Jay understand Korean?
I don't remember.
Listening to
I
it?
was thinking about asking him that right after we watched it.
Yeah.
More than half, honestly.
Yeah, it might be, yeah.
I was thinking about asking him after we watched it, and then I forgot. And we were chatting in the parking lot for 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Well, I should ask him.
Jay, if you're watching this, here, I'll just clip this and post it on TikTok. Jay, if you're watching this, can you speak Korean? Do you remember anything that they said in Past Lives?
Yeah, please comment down below for that.
But they did $6.2 million.
Oh, that's good. I think whatever the budget, I think the budget was really low, $2 million or something. Or maybe even less.
I can look it up.
Anyways, we saw Past Lives. It's I want to get the director's name if you have that soon too.
Sorry. Box office. This Wikipedia has an updated number of 8.4 million, but I don't know the budget.
Yeah. It is a new A24 movie. It's a romance. So disclaimer,
it's slow.
It's slow. It's a slow burn, like a lot of A24 movies are. And if you're not into romance movies, it has a lot of the genre tropes of romance movies, good or bad. It's not really a rom-com, so it's a true romance movie. So I don't know what's another romance movie. I think Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a romance, kind of rom-com. 500 Days of Summer was one we were talking about. The Before trilogy. Those are the things I would sort of compare this to. But what I really loved about it, and especially this comes through in the screenplay, which is, I think, the best part of it, and I think this is going to be up for screenplay at the Oscars at the end of the year. I hope it is very different, and it does a lot to play around with the romance tropes that exist in the genre. Anyway, do you have the director name and the cast?
It's directed by Celine Song.
I think it's her debut from what I was reading.
Oh, well, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Great debut. Good job. Cinematography was done by Shabir Kirchner. Release date was June 23rd, so as you said, we're kind of a little bit late on this.
Yeah, we are.
But allegedly, this one website is saying that the budget was prepared with $50 million. However, on Wikipedia, it doesn't show. Oh, and then MovieWeb says was made with $2.5 million.
I'm
budget. It has to be 2.5.
Yeah, where was the money? I didn't see the money on screen.
55 million is crazy.
Yeah, because these actors weren't huge names.
Yeah,
none of them. Greta Lee is the lead, and I want to shout her out, especially when we get into talking about the acting later. So that was one of the things we were sort of debating.
Greta Lee, Teo Yu, John Magaro, and
those are really
top three
all,
people.
Yeah. It's kind of a three-person movie. Mainly two, but three-person movie. It's kind of two leads, honestly, with one supporting cast member. And I think they knock it all out of the park. That's just my opinion. We can debate that in a second.
No, they all did good.
Yeah, okay. But the one thing we did agree on before we were sort of debating some of the stuff, we both agreed this movie is extremely well shot. Very impressive. Like, for what they did, like, every scene was beautiful. It made sense. It was
nice daydreamy color palettes.
It fit the vibe. I don't like saying that.
I don't like vibe either. I feel like that's a cringe word to say.
It's a cringe word, and it's kind of vague.
Like it doesn't mean anything, yeah.
But it fit what the movie was going for. It fit the style that was coming through in the screenplay and through the acting and the story in general. Like, it just made sense. Sort of a dreamy, melancholy type of stuff. It was really good. Oh, it's just so good. It's so good.
Not only was it well shot,
especially. Oh.
Yeah, I think honestly, this is my. I'm trying to think of what else we've seen. Sorry, I think this is my.
Me too. Yeah. I feel like it's gonna
be that. The only other one I would think about is maybe. I don't know, Asteroid City. Like, I like Wes Anderson's visual style, but I don't know.
Me too. I think it's just not, and we sort of talked about this in the review. I don't think it was unique enough at this point to.
It looked pretty. I don't want to say
like we've seen it
paste
before
from him, but
yeah.
Meh. Blackberry's maybe the only other one that I can throw up there and put its name in the ring, but I don't know. I think this is visually the best film.
Yeah, that I'd also seen before. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to see a beautiful movie, even if it's slow, like if you appreciate good out like artful scenes, you're gonna get that here. It's shot very well. And then the other thing that I guess you told me all the Letterboxd reviews were talking about, like the subtle emotions of the performances. That is true, and like
there are a million people who have mentioned the subtle emotional performances. Get out of here. Look, I get it. It was emotional. It was good. It was great. I'm going to give it a high score.
Yeah.
But oh my God, I've read subtle and emotional performances a million times already. Get out of here.
Yeah. And I think they're right.
Sure.
In saying that, but I'll elaborate more on what I think that means, just so it has some context.
And I'll tell you what I was thinking when I was thinking of emotional whatever.
Yeah, actually, let's start there. So who are the three that you named for me yesterday?
Okay.
Good performances.
So now I know this is comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah,
I'm comparing broccoli with candy. Like Heath Ledger as the Joker with his little all of his mannerisms. Yeah. Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Detective Loki from Prisoners, who's Jake Gyllenhaal.
So it was kind of the same.
These like physical little things that I was always like, oh my God, this seems like a real person. Like, I've seen people do this in the real world. Here, they were good, but I just didn't think there was much more besides like some flirtatious little glances and smirks. I was just like, I don't get what people are commenting about here. People are commenting about sobbing through this movie, crying through this movie. Oh my God, the emotional performance. Get out of here.
I didn't feel it really until the end, but I think that's because it had been building on me the whole time. But with this,
then I felt like I was going to cry. I want to ask you what part you started feeling it at the end. When we get into spoilers, it'll just be brief.
I will tell you exactly. I'll tell you exactly the moment, because it was the moment where I got goosebumps and I was like, "Fuck!" Like I'm about to cry here. You know, I had to hold it in.
I got goosebumps listening to the music. I literally got goosebumps 3 times to the music.
I did too.
Wow, there's really they had a vibe. They had a real mood that they were trying to set.
And it's so consistent. That was what was great about it. It was so consistent. It never leaves that space.
No, it doesn't.
So,
and I was like, wow, that's great. That has to be shots and this music.
Yeah. Okay, let me go back to the performances.
Yeah. So performances. Tell me what are people drooling over in this movie that I just could not understand?
Those 3 performances you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Those are very character performances. Those are all highly fictionalized, heightened people. You know, the first 2 heightened crime people. Psychopaths. Right. Both of those 2, Heath Ledger and
Anton Chigurh. Right. And I get it.
And then Gyllenhaal was just a hyper-focused, couldn't do anything else in his life. Life depended on it, detective. So those are more like character, show off the physical mannerisms, make a person. Like you've seen people do physical things in real life, but you don't see crazy people like that. Like they're
sure. I don't see psychopaths regularly.
The characters in this movie, they're all very real. They're real people dealing with real things, and they make real decisions that all make sense. I don't think anyone in this movie makes a decision that absolutely makes no sense. Right?
No.
Like, they're all acting very rationally, for the most part.
5-second spoiler. Skip ahead 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I just felt, like, weird that she just cold cuts him off and they don't talk for
think,
2 years.
I think it makes sense, but we'll talk about that in a second. Like, when we get into story spoilers, because I think that's part of why the screenplay was really great.
Okay.
But, anyways, the performances, it's in the facial expressions and body language more. They're doing real human facial expressions and body language. There's a lot of like sadness and like emptiness that the characters are feeling at certain points because it's like that missed connection. I'm not able to do something that I want to do because I'm a normal person and like I feel sad about it. Or so there's a lot of what could have been. You can get, this isn't spoilers, I don't think. So like it's just you can see it in their eyes, in the way that they look at each other. You said the flirtatious glances, but it's more than that because it's sadness that like really all three of the main characters are experiencing at certain points. They're like, damn, it's kind of a feeling of letdown, and they show it in their faces and their body language more. So that's what the subtlety is. It's about.
But can you explain
line delivery in a softer way that's not just over the top or heightened character like the other people we talked about.
Sure. But like I think a lot of this, I couldn't put it into words when I was texting you the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to compare it to other like romance, maybe not movies because I don't watch many rom-coms or romance movies in general, but like I think of Up, where Carl, he loses his wife, and you feel sad, and I felt sad. Or like Wall-E, when you see him just roaming around that barren wasteland and there's just all these dead little other Wall-Es that he's by himself. I felt sad, but I didn't feel anything in this movie.
But okay. See, but I did.
Is that just me that I'm a robot? Am I a lizard man?
I don't think you're. I don't think you're a robot. I think you. I genuinely do think the types of movies you watch aren't the ones where
like maybe this isn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I think
good.
that's sort of a disclaimer for anyone that wants to go see this movie. It might not be your cup of tea, but with those movies you just mentioned, they have time or budget or whatever to show the whole story. So you see with Carl and Up, you see the whole story of the marriage, and you see her die and everything. You see everything, and same thing with Wall-E. With this, you don't see any of that.
But they only do that in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most. This had 2 hours.
But it's a lower budget thing, and they chose, okay, we're going to show that baggage through like little dialogue moments where there's a lot more going on in one line than like is just being said. It's through subtext, and it's through the acting subtext too. So there's baggage shown through facial expressions when a character's talking about a certain decision that they made. There's one big one that we can talk about in spoilers, that you can tell that she is experiencing baggage from that, and that maybe she didn't fully want to do it. She wasn't fully committed, but she did it anyways, and so she feels the baggage, and she feels the sadness of what could have been. So that's all coming through in the acting and the writing, because it's not an animated movie. They can't just do a bunch of flashbacks where they run through the whole thing.
Right. And I know, again, that's comparing apples and oranges. Yeah. But like...
And it's an artistic choice, too, to do that.
But to talk about, like, you know, the what could have been...
That's what
I felt bad. I felt bad that Carl couldn't spend any more time with his wife.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
In this movie. I just didn't feel it as much. I don't know.
I mean, I see why, but it's there. It's there in the performances. And the other three things I mentioned. Have you seen Eternal Sunshine? Mm-mm. There's a lot of the good stuff in that. That's kind of comedy-ish, but there's a lot of like actually really, really good performance from Jim Carrey, and I forget the female's name, but really good performance from her as well. There's some really good emotion there. Yeah, from Kate Winslet.
Is it Kate Winslet?
Yeah, I forget.
There's also Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, she. Yeah.
We're gonna clip that.
Kirsten Dunst, man. Okay, we could have a whole podcast about Kirsten Dunst, man. Oh, that's my childhood crush right there, baby.
We'll clip this.
I'm getting sweaty now. All right.
I turned on the fan. Everybody.
Yeah, I'm getting sweaty thinking about Kirsten Dunst. All right. Anyways, there's other romance movies. The Before trilogy, Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, and Before Midnight. All of that very, very good in those movies. So Ethan has seen a bunch of romance, shitty rom-coms too. But
Talk about Ethan.
yeah, I shouldn't. Anyways, it's there. The performances are great. I promise. I hope we're doing it justice by talking about it now. Anyway, do you want to get into scores? You have anything else to say on the acting front before?
No,
we can argue about some of the writing too.
They were all good. They were all great.
But I think they were fantastic. I think Greta Lee especially. She was good. Yeah, she was the highlight.
She was good. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it just must not be my cup of tea. I think normally I enjoy a good movie, a quality movie, and I enjoyed this, but I just didn't feel it. I don't know.
Yeah, and the pacing. Pacing is very slow compared to anything else that we've seen this year. Really, it is probably the slowest movie we've seen this year.
My next best comparison, because I don't watch rom-coms, as I said, or any romance, but I love 500 Days of Summer. That's so much faster than this.
It is
and even that is like
fast-paced movie.
Even that is somewhat slow. It's not like The Dark Knight, obviously. It's not any action-packed anything, but it's so much faster than this, relatively speaking.
The editing of that movie is much more of a focus. There's a lot less room to breathe. But I think that's part of what makes this movie great. What makes Past Lives great is the time to breathe.
And
you get to think.
I enjoyed those the solo shots of just the one character, either Nora or Hae Sung, I think was the name.
Yeah,
Hae Sung. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed some of those lingering shots and some of those slow shots and some of those things, but it was just so slow.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes I was just thinking okay, I need to know what the other person's doing now, because I just saw a shot for 10 seconds of this person just sitting in a bus.
Yeah,
which looked beautiful.
But that's where the emotion was, Nico. You need to feel it with them. They're sitting alone on the bus. Have you been there? Have you been sitting alone on that bus? I watched
Joker after he got mugged in Joker, which I must say, we received a like from Todd Phillips on Instagram.
Yeah, shout out Todd Phillips
for our recent Joker post. Yeah. So Todd Phillips, if you ever want to respond to my DM that I sent out.
Todd Phillips, if you can connect me with Kirsten Dunst, that would be great. I know you probably have her number. I would really love that. If she's into balding and hairless men, then I'm her
Todd
type.
Phillips, sorry for going off topic from our video. We are familiar with a number of your movies. We love the Hangover series. We love Joker. We love Borat. There's a few others.
See this.
Yeah, he's never going to. I'll tag him.
Yeah, sure. All right. Anyways.
But you know what I'm saying?
Give me Kirsten Dunst's number, please.
Joker in that movie, he gets mugged, and I feel terrible for him.
Yeah.
Not just because of what I saw on screen before him, but he looks so alone and desolate on these bus shots that are featured in that movie.
But doesn't Hae Sung look alone in this too?
No, he just goes and drinks with his friends.
How many people really get mugged on trains?
Okay, not many.
But how many people?
But you can't
have that emotional longing for somebody else that they cannot ever have. I'm just saying, this is a real human movie.
Yeah, and it is.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying too. This isn't entertaining first. It's emotional first. It's not looking to keep you, excited for what's going to happen next.
Right.
Because you probably know what's going to happen next. Because like I said, at every turn in this movie, for the most part. Really, I wouldn't even say for the most part. Really, the whole movie, everyone acts rationally. No one does anything crazy.
Nobody does anything
crazy. And I think that's beautiful because that's real life.
Yeah, but in real life, you'll also see people do the absolute nuttiest things possible.
Yeah, shout out Michael Reisman.
All right. Do you want to give a score?
Yeah, I've got a score. I've got a score.
You have a score? I have one too.
I'm going to give it a 9.2. I'm gonna give it into the 9s. This is really, really good for me. I'm a big writing fan. We haven't talked about that as much. We'll get into it, and we'll probably debate that a little bit in the spoilers. But screenplay excellent, acting excellent, cinematography, as we talked about, excellent. It's the most complete movie I've seen this year, and that's why I think it's into the 9s for me, and why it's my front runner for Best Picture at the end of the year.
Okay, I'm gonna give it an 8.7.
Okay,
it was beautiful.
Yep,
beautiful, slow. I liked it. I just can't give it a 9.
That's fair. I
just didn't feel it as much for a 9.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just say, this is now your highest of the year.
Yep.
Just above Beau is Afraid and Blackberry, which were both 9.1s for you.
Yeah, that's about where I'd put it. Like, those are both really good. I think, I don't know, Beau is Afraid might not make our Really Reviews End of the Year awards, but
I think
we'll
it should.
see.
Somehow.
It should in some award
Maybe we
category.
make its own award category. The Beau is Afraid Award.
Yeah.
Just find the most batshit crazy movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I loved it.
Let's get
good.
into spoilers for this story, because I think this screenplay was excellent, and you didn't like one specific choice. Just set it up. Set up the
What was my what did I say? I don't even remember.
the FaceTiming, and then they cut it off.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they're FaceTiming, they're talking, Skype, whatever.
Yeah,
for months, right?
To set up the story here, Greta Lee, the lead, and then
Hey
Sung, they are childhood friends, very close childhood friends.
And Nora.
Yeah, Nora and Hey Sung. And Nora goes away. She moves. She immigrates with her family to America, and then years and years later.
No. You forgot the part where her mom is like, "Well, do you want a boyfriend? Do you want to go on a date with somebody before we leave?" And so they connect for the one time, and then he's searching for her on Facebook or something.
Yeah, for years. Like, they were children, and then they're like,
for like
20.
years.
Yeah, they're like 23.
Something.
They're like kind of our age. They're like college aged.
Yeah.
And she's in America trying to become a playwright, and he is back studying engineering, like we talked about, in Korea still. So they're FaceTiming for a couple of years. They have a long distance relationship, and I know that's something you can relate to.
Yeah. Shout out Lise.
Shout out Lise and Nico. But then she cuts him off, and
I didn't understand.
Why didn't you understand that? Because
they're talking for so long. They both. I don't know. And she just cuts him off cold because they can't see each other for maybe a year. And then she goes 7 years, or like, I think from that point it's 7 years, and she just marries this new guy.
Well, she doesn't
even
keep
trying.
Yeah. Well, she makes that decision for herself. So she basically chooses her dream over a long distance relationship, which I can understand her perspective.
Sure.
She really wants to become a successful playwright. I get that. She was going
Sure.
to an artist retreat. She says, "Look, I can't talk to you anymore. I need to focus on my craft." And it was like a year and a half or a year where it was like, we can't find a way to connect.
Mm-hmm.
So she was just like, "All right, I'm fed up with this. This is another year of my life I don't want to waste." And he was willing to do it, but like, she was like, "Yeah, this is too much. I can't do it."
I thought they did it a little bit too abruptly. That was my other concern with it. Like,
we were talking about slow pacing, but that part was a little quick. I can agree with that.
Right? They didn't show any frustration with it.
Yeah.
She just like gets annoyed right off the bat. Right on that one time where they just talk about it and they're like, "I don't think I can meet you for maybe a year. I don't think I can meet you for maybe another year and a half."
Yeah.
And then that's it. She just cuts him off.
I see what you're saying, but I could also see, and the movie really is going for realistic things, and I could see in a realistic scenario her just kind of trying to make it a cold cut and not deal with the pain because she wants to go focus on other things. Like, that makes sense to me.
It does.
It's hard. With the long distance thing especially, it's easy to just draw it out because you can just send a quick text or do a quick call.
Yeah.
Like I think it kind of makes sense for the characters. It was done a little quickly in the movie. I wish there would have been a little more time to see it coming. But it made sense that it had to happen because of
Nora's
Nora's
that's not the part that I have
ambitions.
the issue with.
Yeah.
It's just that they didn't show anything leading up to that. She just cuts him off.
Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. But anyway, yeah, she marries this new guy,
Who
and then
I didn't like.
You didn't like him.
I didn't like his character.
Why did you like him?
Outside of him writing a book and having the only most like significant line in this movie, he just doesn't do anything for the 3
Do you
out of the 4
remember
scenes
you remember the title of his book?
Yeah. Do you want to say it? Jay and I
It's something that happens
Jay and I-
when I think about Kirsten Dunst.
Okay, don't say that. You have to cut that. You have to cut this. I do not associate with this man regularly.
Why can't I be a Kirsten Dunst?
Okay, we're not going to say what the title is. If you see the movie, you'll see the title, and you'll think it's hilarious.
You'll get what I'm referencing right
Jay
now.
and I were laughing. We were just
No,
dying.
I was the only person in my theater laughing. I can't believe no one else was laughing. I was the only one laughing. It was great.
I saw it, and I was like, is that pronounced...
Yeah.
Is that pronounced this way or this way?
I don't know.
And then I looked at Jay, and Jay was smiling, and I was like, "Oh, you saw it?" And he said, "Yeah, I saw it."
Yeah. So what did you not like about him, though?
Out of the 4 scenes he's in,
He's in more than that, I think. I mean,
handful
in
of scenes. You know what I'm saying?
In a limited role, yeah.
he has the single most important line in this movie,
Yeah.
where what he says, like he's talking about, like, "Oh, nah, young Nora, when you're sleeping, sometimes you talk in your sleep, but you talk in Korean," and he goes, "I don't even know what that could mean. You dream in a language I can only
that I
never
can't
hope to understand."
Yeah, exactly. But see, lines like that, like you saying it now doesn't do it justice. Like it was powerful, and that's how you know it's a great screenplay. When lines like that just kill, like you know that they've been building that shit up the whole movie.
Yeah.
With you out without you even knowing it. That's how you know that it's a well written movie.
But then he doesn't do anything else in the movie.
But he does, and I'll tell you well, actually, I guess I can do it now.
Other than him playing video games and Jay pointing at him and going, "Nico, that's you."
he's struggling with it because he knows the whole time why Hae Sung is there. So Hae Sung comes back and visits New York 10 years later just to see Nora and how she's doing.
After they've been married for so many years.
Yeah, and he knows Hae Sung is there because he really wants that connection and he misses it.
He wants to
Nora.
rekindle it. Yeah,
and that makes sense. And
I get why he's apprehensive, why he's sad, why he's all these emotions.
yeah,
but
but that makes sense. He's like, I'm sad about it, but I can't do anything about it. You know,
like,
this is
I can't be mad. It's your childhood crush.
And then I think the end was fantastic. I think part of the reason why it's into the 9s for me is because the end was this is the best ending to a movie I've seen all year. Like it is.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. There's hardly any dialogue in it. They leave the apartment.
Is this where you started seeing your expressive, super emotional?
No, honestly, the cinematography is
was?
what carried this part more for me.
I think so, too.
The whole time I saw
I think so,
super emotional stuff. Yeah, the cinematography carried that last part, but that was the part that had me tearing up at the end. When they leave the apartment together, they walk down the street and it's a following shot, and they're just waiting for the Uber. They just kind of stare at each other, whatever. I wasn't really feeling anything there. But then she goes back and then breaks down crying and like hugs the husband, and that was just so good. That was just so good. You got to go see this movie.
Yeah, go watch it.
Go see this movie.
Now let's get the.
Did you not feel anything there? Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel what she's feeling because she's never gonna leave the husband. She's never gonna get in the Uber and go with him. That's the fairy tale ending. She's never gonna do that.
But I thought they were gonna try to like make a kiss, and then somebody would be like, "Oh, this is wrong."
See,
and I thought some sort of drama was gonna unfold for like just the final couple minutes.
But that's why it's great because it didn't. Like that.
Yeah,
like he's sad to go, and you see the sadness of him to go, and then you see her slowly walking back. Body language here. Here's some body language, just like arms crossed, like head down. Oh my gosh.
I saw the body language, and I saw the way that they're positioned. He's like awkwardly holding his luggage, and then he opens up a little bit, and he's like, "I need a hug," but he doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
and you could tell like there's some tension. Yeah. They're trying to get a one final goodbye, but like.
I'm not sure what makes me happier. This beautiful cinema or Kirsten Dunst.
I don't know. I just
I want to keep bringing this up.
Stop. You gotta stop. I just didn't care about Arthur the husband. After his only line that's like super impactful in this movie, I didn't care.
You do care about him a lot less, but I think you understand his perspective. Like by the end, you were like
no, a great scene that I do actually will try to remember. I completely forgot about it until now. They're in the bar and they're chatting.
Yes.
And Na Young is chatting with Hae Sung in complete Korean,
and he's just sitting there.
And he's sitting there, and then she's like, "Oh, he's just talking about you."
Yeah.
And how like you're a nice guy, but she doesn't even like tell him anything about what he's saying. They're just communicating the whole time. And he's just sitting there like, "Okay, I don't know what to do. I can't speak Korean. What do I do? What do I say to these people?"
But you see that in his face. Like that's where his performance is good. But he also understands, like he knows, like he can't do anything about it. Like that's such it's so real.
Yeah.
Like that's so real.
I
that's
guess
how
the more
a
we
normal
talk about
person
it,
would
the more I
react.
do appreciate it.
Yeah, he was so good, and he's, of course, if she's crying at the end. Is he going to be upset about that? Because she's never going to leave with him. She shouldn't leave with him.
Yeah.
She has a good life here with
Yeah.
the husband. But all right, go see the movie. I'll stop gushing about it. Anything else?
Emotional, subtle performances.
I hope that
I was tearing up. I was sobbing in the theater watching this. I was not. I am the Lizard Man, Nico. This movie is not better than Blackberry. I'm coming out and saying it.
It's. I think it is better than Blackberry. Blackberry is also great though. And talk about comparing apples and oranges. Those are actually apples and oranges. Completely different movie than Blackberry.
Completely different movies.
So much slower pace.
I think this was
it's opposite end of the
I
spectrum.
think one was better than Social Network, and you still can't really compare it here because of the fast action nonstop.
Yeah.
Completely different camera work, completely different soundtrack and score. The acting is way different. Nobody yells in this movie. There's like a million scenes of Glenn Howerton just screaming in in Blackberry. He's great. He's great. Honestly, he might be like my best actor right now for the year.
Wow.
It's him or Vin Diesel.
That's kind of my A1 or
A1,
A2. Yeah, like
A.
They're both 1A, 1B. Like for me, this is 1A. Past Lives is 1A, and that's 1B. We got some great movies coming out soon, though. We'll be
Barbenheimer 2023.
Yeah, we'll be back with Barbenheimer. Are you gonna get a chance to see Barbie?
I hope so.
Okay, so if you get a chance to see Barbie, we'll do that. We might do a double episode or just maybe two separate.
I think we could.
Let's record them back to back.
You want to record them back to back?
Yeah, sure.
Do I have to change the shirt then? I feel like we have to change.
We could just take our shirts off for the Barbie. We could just do them naked.
We don't look exactly as good as Simu Liu or
no.
Ryan Gosling.
No, we don't. But I don't know. We can rub our nipples and you know.
This is where we stop the video. You should have cut. You should just cut these last 10 seconds off.
Go check those out. We're looking forward to both of them. Oppenheimer and Barbie. They're coming out next weekend. Right? It's
July 21st.
Okay, yeah. It's 2 weekends actually.
Yeah. 2 weekends.
So 2 weekends from now, July 21st is the Friday release of those. They're probably showing Thursday, so buy your ticket now for those if you want to follow along with us. But we'll be back.
A bunch of those have been sold out though. Those Thursdays,
they have.
Fridays,
maybe
even Saturdays. So.
We'll be out Saturday or Sunday with our opinions on those if you'd like to see that. So, anything else to say?
No.
All right.
Go watch the movie. It's worth the price of admission.
Absolutely worth the price of admission. All right. Thank you for listening, everybody.